Man, the experience on Shark Tank, I would do it again in a heartbeat. I was very nervous leading up to doing it. And it wasn't because I was going to be on TV. It wasn't because I was going to be standing in front of the sharks. I was nervous because, like any business entrepreneur, business owner, the narrative is very important, right? Especially marketing, right? It's like the narrative is so important. And how things are seen and the story is told. And so I was really like nervous, like, oh my goodness, I hope that they portray this in an accurate light. And so that was probably the most nerve-wracking part. But the experience was like, I've never done skydiving, but I'd almost equate it to some extreme sport because your adrenaline is pumping. The process to get from the beginning to the end is a roller coaster. And when you come off of it, your adrenaline is pumping for hours after. And then you finally come down and you crash, not in a like negative way, but in a like, I need to take about an 8-hour nap.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm sure. And I mean, so I'm sure there's like probably, trade secrets that you can't share when you're on the show, but whenever you left, what was the first thought? Like, did you call your wife? Did you call somebody in your family? Like, what was the first thought running through your mind? Like, that just happened. Like, what was that first moment like? Like, once you were finished with your whole pitch and you were done, were you just relieved? Like, walk us through that.
I was relieved. That I remember that feeling. This is actually a really good question. Nobody's ever asked me that question. I remember feeling relieved for sure. The other question that went through my head was Mark serious? that one, as I was leaving, I'm like, was he serious or was he just joking? Or was that like, did that just really happen?
Yeah.
And then I'm walking out and I'm like, okay, I got through it. I did it. And then the thought of, okay, what's next? And it was like that was a big question that literally took months to eat through after doing that thing. But yeah, those were my thoughts when I left. I was like, okay, was he serious? And and he was, by the way. I can't share a lot. So they say this on Shark Tank. They say Shark Tank is like Fight Club, right? What happens at Shark Tank, like there is no such thing as Fight Club. You don't mention Fight Club. So there's things you can't talk about, right? That led up to et cetera, et cetera. I do have funny stories though. I think I probably have the most interesting story leading up to Shark Tank. I think I'll top everybody's story. But I mean, going through that thing was definitely a roller coaster. The emotions are running high. You come off of this high of this roller coaster, and then it's back to business. And it's almost like, okay, cool. That was great. Wonderful. Put it on the shelf, shine it up. Look at that. That's cool. Boom. Let's keep going. Kind of the approach that I took.
This is so awesome. I love hearing that. I'm sure it was a big milestone. And then you're just like, okay, we got to get back to business. Like we got to get back to work. And people are listening right now and they're like, Crystal, what is his business? Like they're Googling your name. They're like, what does he even do? Y'all been talking about Shark Tank. So I want to talk about Hampton Adams now because like, I want to get right to it. As an athlete, former athlete, let's go back. Former athlete and someone who now like does like mental health stuff. Like I do a lot of walking. This is more, but back in my day, like I was a volleyball player. I was a cheerleader. Like I did all the things, and your product, I use something so similar to it every single day. So tell everybody about Hampton Adams and what it does and how it helps people.
Yeah. So I was talking to my insurance adjuster today because they're doing an audit. They typically do, if you have, business, they do an audit in your insurance. And she goes, so what do you guys do? And I go, oh, we sell athletic tape. She goes, wait, what? She looks at our numbers because they need your top line revenue. She goes, wait, that's it? I'm like, yes, that's what we do. So Hampton Adams is, I categorize us as a sports medicine brand. Our goal is to make products in regards to sports medicine, sports recovery, that allow the athlete to perform longer, stronger, better. And so there are a lot of products, and it starts so small with us, with athletic tape specifically. If you've used it before, kinesiology tape, athletic tape, bandage wrap, all that stuff. the adhesive is important. And I think, especially in today's kind of climate and generation, people are allergic to virtually everything.
Yeah.
And so what we've tried to do is remove a lot of the things that cause people to have allergic reactions from the adhesive, which makes it healthier. And then solve a lot of the just quality of life problems that you have if you're an athlete. You know what I mean? Ripping, tearing tape, it sticking and staying, it being too sticky or not sticky enough, it not coming off the roll, all that stuff. So we really put a lot of time and effort into solving it, to making it just like, I love this stuff. It's easy to use. It always performs.
Yeah, this is so funny because like I said, I was an athlete. My brothers played football, and my oldest or my middle, I have two older brothers. So one of them went on to play college ball, and I have such vivid visual memories of him just yanking it, tearing it, and coming off in pieces. And he looks like a wild animal, like, cause he's trying to wrap himself up and he's doing all these things. And I'm like, okay. So I know exactly what you're talking about when it comes to the adhesive and all the challenges that you see, but now you have this business and it's helping so many people. And I just have to give you kudos because I think it's such a cool brand that you have and what you're moving forward with. But I did kind of a deep dive on your YouTube channel and all the fun things that you were talking about, because you're in good company here with Seneca, because you said you're an optimization nerd. Yes. Well, I'm a marketing nerd and an optimization and SEO and all the things. And so I just wanted to ask, like, what is the thing about creating a brand or marketing a brand or business that keeps you going when things get a little tough? Because I'm sure you've seen some ups and downs in your journey.
Yes, I have seen things that literally would keep you up at night. Example, I've had things held up by FDA, by customs. Customs are federal agents. And I'm talking $30,000, $100,000, $200,000 worth of stuff held captive. And they're asking you for stuff that you're like, my entire business is. So I've gone through that. I've gone through people using it and using it incorrectly. And then it's just a lot of, the list goes on. The list goes on. I think the thing that kind of keeps me going is why I do what I do. The brand is actually named after my parents. And so to me, it's my head nod. It's me paying homage to the both of them. And I watched as a kid, I have 8 siblings. I watched them put us on their back and carry us through life. And it was hard. It was not easy at all. Everything, the entire gambit of drugs, alcohol, all that crazy stuff. And still to be able to watch them. My mom quit drugs and alcohol, went to school. I think she was like 36, 37. And I'm there. I think I'm in middle school and I'm watching her graduate and she becomes a nurse. And then I watch my dad, who worked on crab boats in Alaska. He worked construction. Whatever he could do to provide and send all his money home. I watched him go back to San Jose, finish his degree to become a industrial X-ray technician. And I saw them literally do this as they're trying to provide the best life that they could for us. 8 of us living in a 1-bedroom, and watching that progression going to something bigger. And just, it was something that I'll never forget. And so for me to build this brand, and when it gets hard, it's not just about me. It's not about, I have a cool brand. And it's really funny. Before Shark Tank, you'd probably never heard of me. And that was on purpose, because it's not about me and me being in the spotlight.
Right.
I have 2 kids, a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old. And I want to build something for them so that they can see, and not just the business, but who I have to become in order to build that business is what is so important to me. Of like, you got to be a hard worker. You got to be consistent. You got to be persistent. There are things that you have to be able to do, and a person you have to be able to become, especially if you want your kids to be that. You can't just, preach at them and bark at them. So for me, it's a bigger why with the brand. And I grew up playing football. All my brothers played football. My dad was our coach. My mom was a nurse. So you kind of get that sports medicine. It just kind of all tied together for me. So for me, it's bigger than just the business.